Hi, my name's Prumihimo and I've got a great project to show you today. It's really easy, but it's really effective. And what it is, it's a bracelet using large holed beads. And by that I mean European beads. You also may come across them in the high street. There are lots of branded beads, but basically they are the beads with a large hole in the middle. You can get them all different materials. They may have a little silver core to them, they may not. All of these will work well, and that's the whole point of this design, that it's about you choosing the ones that you like and making it your own. And what's different to what you might see on the high street, which is all in precious metal, with this you can get lots of colour into it. So these beads will generally have a central hole of about 4.5 to 5 millimeters. So what you need to do first of all is choose your beads, because you've got to make sure your braid fits those beads rather than the other way around. So choose your beads, and what you might like to think about is, do you just want a couple of beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or do you want far more? I've put far more on these. That's up to you. The second thing you need to do is think about the clasp. Now I say that because the weight of a design is very important, and with this sort of bracelet you want it to sit on you so that the beads are at the front and the clasp is at the back. Now there will always be some movement, but you don't want it so that every time you look down all you can see is the clasp. So what you need to do is choose a reasonably heavy clasp, or bear that in mind when you're thinking about your beads. So for these ones I have been able to find some really heavy magnetic clasps. For this bracelet I've used a very lightweight clasp, but actually although these beads look chunky, they're acrylic, so they're very light. So again, this will sit properly when I wear it. And then the final thing you want to think about is your cords. Now, I am hoping that you love your kumihimo and you've got a selection of cords at home. What you need to remember is it's very difficult for me to know exactly what cords you've got, exactly how wide they are, and I don't know anything about your tension. So it's impossible to say exactly what will fit through the beads you choose, but I can give you a few indications. And you might find there's a bit of trial and error. You might try one braid and it might just be a bit too slim or a bit too fat. You can use that for something else. I've got lots of other projects for offcuts, and then have another try. Now, to give you an idea, these bracelets here are made using 4 cords of 2 millimeter satin cord and 4 cords of 0.5 Eslon. And they were a lovely fit in the European beads. This is a slightly slimmer one. There's a bit more movement in this. And this is a 7 cord braid. I've used 7 cords of 1 millimeter satin cord. But what I'm going to show you is this one, because I think this is a way of getting loads of colour into your design. And what I have done here, I've used an 8 cord round braid, and for 4 cords I have used 1 millimeter satin cord, and for the other 4 cords I've used metallic embroidery thread. And the sort of thing I mean is the 6 strand variety that tends to be sold in hanks of about 6 or 8 meters. Now if you use the metallic ones, they can be a little bit scratchy, but the great thing about this sort of bracelet is, with its chunkier clasp and beads, there's minimal contact between your skin and the actual braid. So this is a great use for this yarn, this embroidery thread, which adds a great sparkle. So no more chatting, let's get going. So this is the setup. What you need is 70 centimeters times 4 of your satin cord, 1 millimeter, and you put that in the top and bottom slots, either side of the dots. And then you need 1 meter times 4 of your metallic embroidery thread. And this is because when you braid with thinner and thicker braids, you will find that the thinner cords have to work faster. They have to go further, and so you will need more. This is quite a generous quantity I'm giving you for the cord. And the reason for this is that you need to be able to adjust the size of your bracelet after you've taken it off the disc for this particular design. So I'm now going to give you a very quick recap on round braid or Congo gumi. But don't forget, I've got a great video with all the tricks and tips that you need for this. So simply top down, bottom up, rotate, top down, bottom up, rotate, and so forth. So it's always the top right down, the bottom left up. And when you work on these thinner cords, you need to pull on them quite firmly. And quite simply continue like that. So that is how you make the braid. Continue to the end of your cords. Even if it looks a bit long, you can always use the scraps for something else. When you've finished, you'll have a beautiful braid something like this. You take it off the disc and tie it in a knot. Then what you need to do is seal the end here. So with a little bit of glue, if you're doing a wired-on end, you can just use an all-purpose glue. If you're doing a glued-on end, make sure the glue you use here is compatible with the glue you're going to use in your end cap. And all you're doing is just sealing about 1 centimetre of braid, allowing it to dry, and then trimming it. And you can roll that end in your fingers as well, just to make it as small as possible. Then you thread on your beads. Sometimes you will find, like that one, you need to try both sides. They can sometimes be a little bit stuck in the middle where you have the silver core. Thread on as many beads as you'd like. Now, the beads will make a big difference to the size of bracelet you need. That's why I've encouraged you to make a longer braid. So keep trying the bracelet around your wrist, because the more big beads you have, the more it will push the bracelet out and the bigger the bracelet needs to be. One good way of doing the sizing is to do one end at a time. So I'm going to improvise here. I'm going to put one end on here. This is my, my glue-on end cap. This is quite lightweight, so I've got a heavy charm to balance the weight. And then what I do is I wrap the braid around my arm, and then I work out exactly the size I want. So I can see from this, there's enough tolerance around there, that feels comfortable. So I'm going to cut my braid about here and do the same thing. Seal it, and then I'm going to glue it into that end cap. And that's a really great way of getting the sizing right for your bracelet. So, now you've learnt the technique, now take it further. How about a necklace? So for this, I've just used waxed cord. I've used 8 cords of 1mm waxed cord, and I've also popped a little pendant on. And I think that's very effective. You can have lots of fun with this design. It's all about the assembly. It's all about the choice of the beads. So have fun, go out, choose lots of different types of bead, and then you'll be able to make up very personalised designs. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your company. And if you've enjoyed it, consider putting a like down below. Consider subscribing to my channel, because that way you'll know what else I've got coming up, and I've got lots of lovely things to show you. So until the next time, bye.